Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are walking a very, very interesting line. You know those moments where advanced technology starts to look a whole lot like magic?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe where ancient spirituality starts borrowing vocabulary from like a quantum physics lab?
It is a blurry line, and frankly, it's where some of the most interesting conversations are happening right now. It's that intersection.
That is exactly where we're camping out today. We have a stack of documents here, brochures, tech specs, what looks like a manifesto, really.
Right.
All from a company that specializes in metaphysical healing imprints. And before you picture, a dusty crystal shop with incense burning.
And Enya playing in the background.
Exactly. Pause that image.
Right. Wipe the slate clean on that.
Because the material we're looking at talks about coherent cellular signaling, radionics machines, Spooky2 Rife systems.
I mean, molecular restructuring.
Yeah.
It feels way more industrial than your average wellness brochure.
It really does. So we're looking at a catalog of jewelry, amulets, and stuff for your home. But the selling point isn't that they look good.
No, it's not the aesthetic.
It's that these items are, and I'm quoting, imprinted with specific healing frequencies using some pretty serious looking hardware.
And our mission today isn't to run a clinical trial here. We're not here to say this definitely works or this is nonsense.
It's not what we do.
No. Our job is to unpack the internal logic. What's the argument they're making? How do they claim this all fits together? Atoms, frequencies, the human body.
What's the worldview being sold here alongside the copper bracelets?
We are decoding the argument. And it's a complex one. It layers, hard science terms over these very metaphysical concepts.
The vibe is just, it's unique. I'm looking at these glossy images. On one page, you have this beautiful copper bracelet, right? Looks like something from a craft fair.
Very artistic, very organic looking.
But then right next to it, there are photos of what looks like lab equipment. These blue generator boxes with LED screens, black boxes with heavy analog dials, wires.
Alligator clips.
Yeah. It feels like a science lab got set up inside a yoga studio.
That's a perfect description. It's wellness colliding with electrical engineering.
Yeah.
And that visual really tells you everything about the audience they're aiming for.
How so?
They want the spiritual result, the healing, the peace, but they want a techie validation for it. They want to know there's a machine behind the magic.
Okay, so let's start with the big question, the premise. How is a piece of jewelry supposed to help my health? I mean, usually a bracelet is just a bracelet.
Well, to get their pitch, you have to see how they define the body. They don't start with biology, organs, blood, bones.
They start with physics.
They start with physics. The source material says explicitly, every atom in the body carries its own electrical charge and magnetic field.
Which, to be fair, is true. I mean, we're made of atoms. Atoms have protons and electrons. We are, at a basic level, energetic beings.
Correct. That is the scientific anchor.
Mm.
But then they build this whole narrative on top of it. They argue these charges are the baseline for cellular function and vitality.
So if your charge is balanced, you're healthy.
Basically, yeah. But then they introduce the problem, the modern world. The text points to constant exposure to environmental stressors and specifically calls out electronic devices.
Ah, the invisible enemies. Wi-Fi, 5G, the hum from the fridge.
The cell phone in your pocket, precisely. The claim is that all this exposure leads to a gradual weakening of this energetic balance.
So we're all walking around out of tune.
That's the diagnosis.
Yeah.
It's like the noise of the world is creating static and disrupting your body's natural electrical state.
And if the problem is noise, the solution has to be a better signal.
A better signal. And that's where the concept of resonance comes in. This is the absolute core of their theory.
Right.
The document describes a resonance-like interaction. So when you bring one of these imprinted objects near your body, the claim is that your atoms literally respond to the frequency in the object.
It's the tuning fork thing, right?
It's the classic tuning fork analogy, and they actually allude to it. If you strike one C-note tuning fork, another one across the room will start to vibrate.
Sympathetic resonance, physics 101.
Exactly. So they're claiming that jewelry is the master tuning fork. It's holding the stable, perfect frequency. And your body, which is vibrating chaotically because of stress and 5G.
It senses that stable frequency and tries to match it.
It tries to get back in tune.
The text uses some pretty heavy terminology here. I'm seeing coherent cellular signaling, and this one's a mouthful, vibrational organization associated with a DNA structure.
That phrasing is key. Vibrational organization. They're suggesting biology follows frequency. That if you can fix the vibration, the physical structure, even down to your DNA, will organize itself correctly.
Wow. There's an image in here of a DNA strand floating in this blue hexagonal grid. It really drives home that they want you to think about this at the genetic level.
It's not about soothing sore muscles, it's about optimizing your code. The idea is you can restore order with an external frequency source. It's an enticing idea, you just have to be near the signal.
Okay, so that's the theory, but I want to get to the how, because this is the part that really got me. When you buy a healing crystal or something, the backstory is usually pretty vague.
Right, it was washed in moonlight or it just has good vibes.
Yeah. But this is different. They're showing us machines, actual hardware.
Very technical. The brochure says the imprinting is a precisely monitored process that integrates advanced technology, and they name two specific pieces of equipment.
The Spooky2 Rife system and the Burkana Labs Radionics machine.
Yep.
Let's break those down. The Spooky2, I'm looking at it, it's a little blue metal box. It's got a screen showing frequencies and this big gray knob. It looks like something from a 90s electronics repair shop.
It does. It has a very utilitarian look.
Yeah.
Now, the name Rife is really important here. It refers to Royal Rife, an inventor from the 1920s and 30s.
He's the guy with the microscope, right?
That's the one.
Yeah.
He claimed he built a microscope that could see live viruses, which was impossible then. But his bigger claim was that every pathogen has a mortal oscillatory rate.
A frequency that could shatter it, like an opera singer and a wine glass.
Exactly like that. So by using a Spooky2 Rife system, they are signaling a direct connection to that whole lineage of frequency therapy.
So they're tapping into that history.
They're saying, we have the tech to target specific biological states.
And then there's the other one, the Burkana Labs machine. This one looks, I don't know, more mysterious. It's a black box, slanted front.
The Radionics machine.
Yeah, it has these three big analog dials numbered 0 to 10. It feels very different from the digital Spooky2, almost retro-futuristic.
Well, radionics is a fascinating rabbit hole. Rife is about hitting something physical with a sound wave. Radionics is more esoteric. It's described as dealing with subtle energy or intrinsic data fields.
So it's less about electricity and more about intention.
That's a great way to frame it. The Spooky2 pumps out the literal hertz, and the radionics box kind of sets the intention. It's a hybrid approach, physics plus metaphysics.
And connected to these machines, I'm seeing these cables running to copper coils and these gold-colored wands.
Yeah, it looks like they place the jewelry inside those coils or on plates to imprint them. That's the word they use.
Imprint, which is the hardest part to grasp from a physics standpoint. How does a piece of metal hold a frequency? If I play a song to a rock,
The rock doesn't learn the song.
right, turn the speaker off, music's gone.
But the claim here, based on their text about molecular restructuring, is that the exposure to these intense fields changes the subtle structure of the object, like magnetizing a screwdriver.
They're magnetizing the jewelry with healing information.
That's the idea.
Which brings us to the actual data, the information. We have this big colorful chart. Frequency, solfeggio note, associated chakra. This feels like the instruction manual.
This chart is the core of their whole methodology. It connects the physics, the hertz, to the metaphysical system of chakras and ancient musical scales.
Let's walk through a few because the specificity is just wild. It implies 174 hertz to something totally different from 175 hertz.
That's the premise of the solfeggio scale. These are considered sacred numbers,
Yeah.
sacred frequencies.
Okay, so it starts at the low end with 174 hertz. The chart calls it a natural anesthetic.
A natural anesthetic. That's a bold medical claim.
It is.
It says it reduces physical pain, relieves stress, and supports bodily safety. It's associated with the root chakra, so a low grounding frequency.
So if I have a headache, theoretically, this is the frequency I'd want my bracelet humming at.
Theoretically. And you bump up to 285 hertz.
This one gets very biological. It says tissue regeneration and cellular repair.
Right, and immune support.
Yeah.
The idea is that it's providing the frequency blueprint for healthy tissue.
So if I cut my finger, this would help it heal faster.
That's the implication. Then you get to 306 and 417 hertz. Here we shift more into the emotional.
Okay.
396 hertz is linked to the root chakra, but the function is liberating guilt and fear.
Liberating guilt. That's fascinating. It treats an emotion like a blockage you can just shake loose with a sound wave.
It frames emotion as energy. And 417, the sacral chakra, is about clearing negative patterns and facilitating change. So it's like a reset button for your habits.
And then we get to the center of the scale, 528 hertz.
The big one, the celebrity of the frequency world.
I feel like I've seen 528 hertz on YouTube. Miracle tone, right?
It's very popular. The source calls it the love frequency. But look at the physiological claim they attach to it. DNA repair.
There's that DNA connection again.
Yes. Transformation, DNA repair, cellular healing. It's positioned as the master frequency. The logic is that 528 hertz is the fundamental resonance of life itself.
So if your DNA is damaged, this frequency reminds it of its original perfect shape.
That's the pitch.
Moving up. 639 hertz, heart chakra, relationship healing.
But not just interpersonal relationships. The text says cardiovascular coherence.
I love that. It bridges the poetic idea of a broken heart with the literal medical function of the heart.
It's clever. It implies that if your relationships are toxic, your heart rhythm is literally out of sync, and this frequency can fix both.
Okay, then 741, throat chakra, detoxification.
Problem solving, mental clarity. It suggests clearing the throat chakra is also about literally clearing toxins from your system.
And finally, the top of the chart, 963 hertz.
The crown chakra. This is where we leave the physical body. Pineal activation, divine connection, oneness.
Wow. It's quite a ladder. You start at stop my knee from hurting, and you end at talk to the divine.
And you just choose the jewelry with the frequency you need. You self-diagnose and buy the corresponding program.
So we have the theory, the machines, the frequencies. Now I want to look at what they say this actually treats. Because there's a section here titled Potential Benefits, and it is, well, it's a list.
It is a massive, wide-ranging list.
I'm just going to read some of these off. Reduce the impact of 5G, right at the top, bold letters.
A very modern concern. It anchors the product right in the now.
Then we have arthritis, carpal tunnel, gout, so very specific joint issues.
And then it pivots immediately to neurological issues. Fibromyalgia, MS, neuropathy, Parkinson's.
And general ones like vertigo and fatigue.
I mean, it's breathtakingly broad. Parkinson's is a degenerative neurological disorder. Gout is crystallized uric acid. These are completely different mechanisms in conventional medicine.
Right, and if I'm a listener hearing this and I suffer from one of these, especially something chronic like fibromyalgia, I'm probably thinking, I'll try anything.
That's the appeal.
But, and this is a huge critical but,
Huh?
we have to look at the fine print because the source includes a disclaimer and it's just as important.
Absolutely. We need to be very clear here. The document explicitly states, our imprinted products have not been evaluated by the FDA.
Standard but important.
And it goes on. All claims are the result of testimonials of our satisfied customers.
That is a key distinction. Testimonials are stories, anecdotes. They are not clinical trials.
Exactly. A testimonial says, I wore this and felt better. It doesn't prove why they felt better. It doesn't control for placebo. And then the most critical line.
The products are not intended to cure or prevent any illness. We recommend consulting with your physician.
So on one side of the brochure, you have DNA repair and Parkinson's. And on the other, you have not intended to cure.
It's a tension you see a lot in this space.
It is. It reflects the current landscape.
Yeah.
We have this high-tech language atoms, fields, frequencies describing mechanisms that aren't recognized by mainstream medicine. So they have to navigate the legal reality. They can't legally claim it cures Parkinson's.
It's fascinating how they weave the Spooky2 and Burkana Labs names into it all. It's like they're saying, we're not saying this cures you, but we are saying we use these famous machines to make it.
It validates the process while distancing from the medical result. It frames it as an experimental tool. It's saying, here, you try it and see what it does for you.
Let's go back to that idea of energetic hygiene for a second. Let's wrap up with that.
Yeah, that's the whole environmental stressor argument we touched on. It's crucial. If you believe 5G and Wi-Fi are scrambling your body's signals,
Then this product is pitched as a shield, but not a physical shield,
Yeah.
right? Not like a lead vest.
a physical shield blocks things. But remember the resonance theory. This isn't blocking the 5G. It's providing a stronger, more coherent signal for your body to lock onto instead.
Okay, help me visualize that. How can a little bracelet compete with a cell tower?
Think of it like this. Imagine you have a loud construction site outside. That's the 5G. Chaotic, banging noise. You can't stop it.
Okay.
But you can put on noise-canceling headphones playing a Mozart symphony. That's the jewelry. The construction noise is still there, but your brain or your cells is focused on the Mozart.
You're entraining to the symphony, not the jackhammer.
You're choosing which signal to prioritize.
Mhm.
And they're betting the body has an innate preference for these specific harmonic frequencies that the body wants to be in tune.
Which is why they call it metaphysical healing imprints. It's physics plus metaphysics.
And technology. Don't forget the blue box.
Yeah.
The technology is the bridge. It makes the metaphysics feel tangible.
So what does this all mean for us? We've looked at the coils, the DNA charts, the legal caveats.
I think it speaks to a very deep desire to find control in a chaotic world. We all feel the noise,
Right.
whether it's literal electronic noise or just the stress of modern life. We feel out of tune.
And the idea that you can just retune yourself, that's powerful.
It is. Whether you see this as a breakthrough in biophysics or the placebo effect amplified by cool gadgets, the underlying drive is the same. People want a way to protect their internal state.
It's interesting that they use jewelry, something you wear constantly. It's not a pill, it's a constant signal.
A portable anchor. It says, I am protecting my space.
So here's where we leave you today. We've unpacked the claims, the tech, the frequencies, from the love frequency at 528 hertz down to the natural anesthetic.
And we know about this whole concept of energetic hygiene.
Right. So here's the thought to take with you. If we accept the premise that the world is full of stressors that weaken our energetic balance, and we don't have a Spooky2 generator, what's your personal tuning fork?
Oh, I like that question.
What's the thing, a song, a place, a person, that when you get close to it, it makes your cellular signaling go coherent again? What brings you back to resonance?
That is the question. Because even without the hardware, we all know what it feels like to be in tune.
Absolutely, when the static clears and everything just flows.
Maybe it's a walk in the woods.
Which, by the way, has its own frequency, the Schumann resonance.
The 7.83 hertz, the heartbeat of the earth.
It's everywhere. Find your frequency, everyone. Thanks for diving in with us. See you next time.